some more Elvis Presley Army members, so we'll send you away from here with that. But right now, we're going to talk to a gentleman who was part of the Elvis world, starting in 1964 when he started. I always say one day I want to come to do an interview with this gentleman, and I want to bring like a cloth and give him scissors and a comb, and the interview's conducted while he cuts my hair like he did Elvis Presley's. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis's hairdresser and his spiritual advisor, Larry Geller. Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. Yes, that's absolutely fine. There you go. Larry Geller, I've interviewed you so many times, and it's been a while since we've been back together.
2017, in fact, when this building opened, I spoke here with Argo.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. But then before then, for years, you know.
Yeah, cruise ships, tents,
that's right.
Anywhere that we could gather to talk to Elvis fans, and we are so lucky to have him back, because if there's a storyteller in the Elvis world that just paints a picture, puts you in the room, it's this gentleman right here. No pressure, Larry.
That's exactly what, that's my motivation. Because when I speak to you, this is the Elvis family. We're all friends. But I was fortunate enough to be there with Elvis. So I want you to walk with me. I want to put you in the room with me. I want to have you experience what I experienced, because there's nothing like it. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words to convey. You know, I was a hairstylist. I started men's hairstyling in America with Jay Sebring back in 1960. We opened our doors. Men's hairstyling was never heard of. We charged $10, which is a lot of money in those days. Barbers were charging 75 cents or $1. So it was an experiment. We opened our doors. Our clientele was Frank Sinatra, Marlon Brando, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, Rock Hudson. I was doing Peter Sellers' hair, Henry Fonda, Glenn Campbell, Roy Orbison. I was a kid, I was 20 years old, and all this is happening. One afternoon in 1964, my phone rang, picked it up at the salon, and I said, hello. And the southern drawl said, Larry, I'm sitting here with Elvis Presley, and he wants to know if you want to come up to fix his hair. After being with all these celebrities, and they all knew me by my first name, Elvis was, is, and will always be the icon of icons. That's it. I was so excited. Of course I said yes. So Alan told, his name is Alan Fortas, whose uncle at the time was the Attorney General of America under Johnson, right? So at any rate, I packed my bag. I'm running out the salon, and the receptionist says, Larry, wait a minute. Peter Sellers is on the phone. I said, you tell Peter I'll call him. I didn't care. It could have been Moses. I didn't care. Any rate, drive up to Bel Air. Someone meets me at the gate. Drive up that winding road. Elvis's house was on Perugia Way, on this overlooking the Bel Air Country Club. Tons of fans in the front. The gates open up. I drive in. I walk into the house. And I'm looking around, checking everything out. Someone takes me into the den. I'm looking around and I'm checking everything out. And about 30 seconds later, here comes Elvis. He's wearing a cap, a motorcycle cap with some of the guys, and he walks up to me. and he was just glowing, just emitting energy. And he walks out and says, "Hi, I'm Elvis Presley." And I said, "Hi, Elvis, I'm Larry Geller." He says, "Come on, we're going to my bathroom. We'll talk. And you fix my hair." I said, "Great. See you guys later," he says. Going to the bathroom. And I expected to see a star's bathroom with light bulbs around the mirror and a big chair, comfortable. Very plain, big bathroom, nice, clean. And there was a small basin, and Elvis said, "Come on, we'll do it right here." So I grab a towel, I put it, and I'm so careful. With the shampoo, I lather it, I'm rinsing it out. I'm not even done, and Elvis picks his head up and starts back and forth, and water splattering on me. He's drenched, and you know what he does? He says, "Hey, Larry, what the hell, man? At least it's clean." And when he said that, it put me at ease a little bit.
Yeah.
I knew where I was. Elvis was 28, I was 24. He says, "Come on, we'll do it right here." We sit in front of this mirror and this marble ledge. He tells me he's working on in the middle of a movie called Roustabout. He says, "No, Larry, you can't cut too much hair because these scenes have to meet." I said, "Elvis, let me do it. I know exactly what should be done." He said, "All right, man, I'm leaving the driving to you." That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Took me about 45 minutes, and not a word was spoken. Now, anyone that knows Elvis knows you can't stop him from talking. I mean, we would talk, and after that, for years and years, that's all we would do is talk. In fact, he would be late for everything because we get into conversations about life, about politics, current events, always ending up in philosophical conversations about life and the meaning of life. And as everyone knows, beyond the jumpsuits, like Elvis used to say, the fans, they know me. They know me. They know Elvis Presley. They don't know me and the things that I am doing and what I want them to know. But I didn't know any of this at this point. So I sprayed his hair. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm saying, "What do you think, Elvis?" And he looks, he said, "Ah, beautiful, beautiful." He spins around and puts his fingers just like this in my face. And he got real serious. "Who are you? Who are you, Larry Geller? What are you really all about? What are you really into?" I was stunned. And I was tongue-tied for a moment. And I said, "Well, I'm sitting with Elvis Presley." He got so serious. And I said, "Well, Elvis, you know what I do for a living. And I work with celebrities, and this is where I make money. This is my craft. But I hear you loud and clear. And what's more important to me than anything else in life is my search for God, for truth. Why are we here? Why does anything even exist? How did it happen? Are the scientists right? Is this all just an accident of chemicals evolving over billions and billions and billions of years? Or is there a God, a creator, a master plan? I said, "Elvis, I read every book I can get my hands on. Spiritual books, philosophical books, metaphysical books, books on health. I became a vegetarian. I meditate, I pray." And all of a sudden, I got very, very self-conscious. Because you have to understand, in those days, people didn't talk about this. This was underground conversations. Not with Elvis Presley. So I said, "Elvis, wait a minute. I know who you are. You're Elvis Presley. You're the biggest star in the world." This probably sounds corny to you. He said, "No, man, no, Larry. You have no idea how I need to hear what you have to say. And I went on, and I started telling Elvis about how I see things, about my parents and growing up and all of that. And Elvis said, man, Larry, what you're talking about is what I secretly think about all the time, especially late at night when I'm going to bed. This is all I think about. He said, look, you know these guys who work for me? They're good guys. They're good guys. They do their job. But they're not interested in anything like this. I've always wondered, Larry, why, and he went just like this, why was I plucked out of all the millions and millions of lives to become Elvis Presley? Why me? Why me? He said, Larry, do you know I have a twin brother? You know what I said? I didn't say. He said, I had a twin brother. He said, you know, I have a twin brother. I mean, that shows you something about his inner thinking, so to speak. I said, yeah, I do know I have twin sisters. They're major fans. They told me all about it. He said, his name is Jesse Garren. Why didn't he survive? What would have happened if he survived? Would you be doing his hair right now? He said, what if we both survived? Would we be the Presley brothers? Man, Larry, I have questions like we've been talking about. And this conversation went on for about 2 hours. And I realized it was getting late for Peter Sellers, you know. Elvis, listen, I got to get back. Peter Sellers was waiting for Peter Sellers, he said. He is my favorite. He is the comedic genius of our time. And Elvis went right into Dr. Strangelove. He did it all for years. Yeah. Good. He did it very, very well. And by the way, Elvis did a Brando like no one had ever seen. And he went into it and he started to look like Brando. He was really good. Well, Elvis was, his talent just reeked, no matter what he was doing. If he was eating breakfast, I mean, it was, the energy, the frequency that was emitting from this man was something else. So Elvis said, listen, I got a better idea. You go back and you tell Chase Seaman that you're quitting because you work for Elvis Presley full-time. What do you think? Think? I didn't need my brain. You know, it's like when you meet someone, you can tell right away if you like them, you know. And Elvis, in that conversation, he had tears in his eyes. He told me where he come from in Tupelo, Mississippi. He said, Larry, you have no idea where I came from, man. You have no idea. I was born in a shack that my daddy built with his 2 hands. He said, oh, you want some water? We didn't have faucets. You go outside, get the bucket, go to the well. Oh, you have to go to the bathroom? Outhouse. We had nothing. But I tell you what we did have. We had each other. Yeah. My mom and dad. And she told me so many times, Elvis, honey, don't you ever forget where you came from. Don't you ever forget. So I said, Elvis, great. He said, but here's the thing, when he asked me to work for him, with him, I have to say with him, he was asking me to become responsible for the likeness and image of the most famous person in the world and the most famous head of hair. And I never took that lightly until the very, very end, which is a whole other story. But he was asking me something even more significant, because he said to me, you meet me tomorrow, Paramount Studios, 8 o'clock, and bring me some of those books you've been reading.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Hungry.
I was
Yeah.
finish it.
No.
So he was hungry, and he said to me, honest to God, he said to me that night, and I don't know if I've ever said this before. He said to me, Larry, I found out a long time ago, once I started to what they call make it. Fame and fortune is not what it's all about. There's something else. Elvis had, I hate to say it like this, like a hole, like something in him that needed. He had so much to give that I want to tell you about next after, in one moment. So that's how it all began. I brought Elvis books over. We had a profound library. And as most people know, wherever Elvis went, the guys had to carry 2 huge trunks filled with his favorite books. From city to city, on the airplane, often. They hated doing it. I mean, it's heavy, you know. Elvis, well, you know, we all know Elvis, a performer, of course. But he was a very intelligent, sensitive, more sensitive than anyone I've ever met. He felt everything. Anything was going on, he felt it. He saw it. He had this peripheral vision going. An incredible being, you know. At any rate, the last book I gave Elvis, that I'm not going to go into this afternoon, but hopefully maybe next time, in another format that we're talking about. I gave him a book at Graceland about 10 hours before he passed away. I gave him a book, and as we know, his body was found in a fetal position, and the book was clutched to his chest. Okay, I'm going to lift this up now. I want to tell you something that I know more than 90% of the fans don't know yet. And I promise you to love this. Now we're in August of 1965. We just completed the movie Paradise Hawaiian Style. And I saw it on Ralph's about it. It tickled me real happy. Frankie and Johnny, Harem Scaram's been out, all those movies. But now we just came back from Hawaii, finished at Paramount, and the Beatles wanted to meet Elvis. And they tried several times, and Elvis didn't want to. For whatever reasons. The Colonel kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and Elvis gave in. August 27th, 1965, Friday night. Balmy August night in Southern California. It was beautiful. The Beatles were coming. The word was leaked out. There was no internet. There was no Google. There was no texting. So anyway, I drive. My house was like the next canyon over from Elvis's. I was there right away. Drove in, and as I'm driving up that windy, proogy way, people are lined up everywhere. Police, media, people in the street. And I remember I was thinking, oh, the neighbors must be, I mean, this is a very exclusive Bel Air. The neighbors must be really pissed off. So, the gates open, I drive in, walk in, go into the den. Elvis, and this is going to be sound stupid to you. Elvis looked really great that night. He always looked great. But he was on fire. Yeah. He was on fire within himself. And he wore this beautiful, and I remember where he got it, Fred Siegel's. It was where he got a lot of his landscape, and Fred Siegel, that was his bolero shirt, bolero on the sleeve, blue, beautiful. So the minute I came in, we went into the bedroom, a bathroom. Elvis sits down. I started to do his hair. And I always brushed it, by the way. Every time I did his hair, I brushed it. I made sure I brushed it a lot, because, by the way, he's very, very healthy. And I wanted him to keep his hair. He looked gorgeous. You know, I just want to mention this as an aside. I was telling you about Paul Newman. What a handsome guy. Rock Hudson, Warren Beatty, and Elvis. He was a notch above them all. No one. He looked like he stepped out of the Psalms, like King David. I mean, this guy. This is for a face for the ages. So Elvis is looking. He has a faraway look in his eyes. He's quiet. So right away, I know what's happening. I know. The Beatles were coming. So I'm doing his hair, and all I'm saying goes like this. I've been there and I've done it. I respect these guys. I like their music. And what they're doing is what I should be doing. Being in front of my fans. That's where the energy is. That's where the love is. And now Elvis started emotionally. He started to simmer because different things were emerging within him because the Beatles were coming. They were on Ed Sullivan now. They were getting all this screaming. And he said, what the hell? And he used other language that Am I allowed to?
If you're quoting, it's fine.
Is there any kids here? No, we're all kids. So we're, wait till you see where this is going.
Okay.
Wait till you see where this is going. I promise. He said, what the F am I doing with my career? Making teeny bopper movies? Every movie is the same damn movie. All they do is change my name and change the set. It's the same story. He said, I'm an actor. I'm an actor. I'm an artist. I owe it to my fans. I owe it to myself. And I keep telling the Colonel, get me a real movie. Get me a real movie. Brando and Dean those were his models. He said, that's who I am. I can do what they do. I can do more than what they do. Give me a chance. They won't give me a chance. They keep me in a box. I'm going to get out of it. I'm telling you, I'm going to get out of it. And by another aside. I live this. I'm living it right now. I'm back there with him right now, with you. Because this is actually what he said and what happened. And he was so emotional. He said, you know what they're doing, Larry? And this is when this term first started. He said, they're packaging me. And that's when the package, He says, I do a movie, and it makes millions of dollars. Millions, all these people are making millions of dollars. RCA puts an album out. It's all part of the deal. He said, no, don't get me wrong, I make money. We all have to make money. But I'm not into this just for the money. This is my mission. This is my destiny, to be where I am, to do what I do, and to have the fans that I have. So, he was saying, I have so much more within me to give, and I'm going to do it. Somehow I'm going to do it. Somehow I'm going to do it. And he said to me, it kind of surprised me in a way, but Elvis was pure. He was open. He didn't hide his feelings to someone really close to him like myself. He said to me, "You want to know something, Larry? The truth, I'm embarrassed to go out there tonight." And I was surprised he said that. But I thought it was beautiful that he did. He said, "I'm going to go out there. They're going to meet Elvis. So let's go out there and meet him." So we did. We went in the other room. And we were told by the colonel, this is mind-blowing, no photos. Of course, no phones in those days. You know. No photographs. Can you imagine what we could have had? What you could have had? Yeah. My God, a couple of books of pictures and stories. Whoa! So, the Beatles come in. They walk up to Elvis. Everyone stands up. Hi, hello. Elvis sits down in the chair. The 4 Beatles sit on the floor in front of him in a semicircle. Their jaws all up looking at him. Because you know why they did that? Because they were looking at Elvis right then and there. That was Elvis. Their idol. John, and it was Ringo and George never said anything. I couldn't believe it. They were so George is little. Ringo, I never heard a word out of his mouth. But he was watching everything. Paul and John got into a conversation immediately. "Elvis, man, you're the man. You're it. You started everything. There'd be no Beatles. There'd be no Stones. There'd be no Jerry and the Pacemaker. There'd be. Thank you, Elvis. I picked up a guitar, and they both said that. And I was just reading last week, all the people that got into the business because of Elvis, from Bruce Springsteen to Bob Dylan, everyone, all of them were inspired because of Elvis. What, you probably know more than me. What's the opera Placido Domingo?
Placido Domingo.
You know what he said? Elvis's voice, that's the voice I want. Tenor, right? So, I'm going to wrap this part of the story up because what happens out of this is what you need to know. Ringo and George and all of our guys went into the other room because in the big room, the living room, was a pool table. And for the next hour or two, those guys played pool. Brian Epstein, the Beatles manager, and the colonel stood together by a roulette wheel that the colonel put up, metaphorical. Anyway, they left in the den. Elvis, a few of his guitars on stands, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and that was, I think that was Charlie Hodges' first movie. He started working for Elvis on Paradise Hawaiian Style. Charlie was there, and I think Jerry was there. Jerry would never have left.
Yeah.
John says, "Elvis, can I play your guitar?" And I said, "Yeah, pick it up now." John picks up one of the guitars. Paul asks the same thing, and I think there was what did Paul play? Bass.
Yeah.
There was a bass, he picked up the bass. Elvis turns around, picks up his Martin. Can you imagine this? The Beatles and Elvis strumming.
Yeah.
Listen to this. John started to play the song Memphis that came out a year earlier with Johnny Rivers. He started playing it. Elvis looked at him like that. He stopped playing it. He started playing something else. They all jammed together. They all started singing together. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, in infinity, in this space-time continuum, I'm in the best place that anyone could possibly be. It was fantastic. And I remember when John nudged Paul. In every one of Elvis's rooms, in any house, TVs are always on. No one turns them off. And Paul says to John, color telly. I think they never had that. Yeah. I'll never forget that. So that night they left. Other things happened, but we're on a time thing and I wanted to get you somewhere. So they left and I walked up his bedroom and he said to me, man, damn. Did you see their teeth? Well, those guys grew up during the war, Second World War, and milk was rationed in the UK, and they weren't getting calcium. One of my closest friends was from there at that time. Same thing. He lost all of his teeth. So then Elvis is going to his bedroom, and I says, I'll see you tomorrow. He turned to me and he said, Lawrence, I want you to remember one thing. I said, what? He said, there's 4 of them. There's only one me. Here it comes, folks. The stage is set. We leave town. We get into the Dodge mobile home. Elvis is driving. I'm sitting shotgun like I always did. We're in the Arizona desert. It's about midnight. And in those days, they weren't even CDs in those days, let alone what we have today, technically. We had 8-tracks. And Elvis loved Roy Orbison. And he had the best of Roy Orbison on it. He put it in, driving, and piped in is Roy singing, Only the Lonely. Sitting, it's beautiful, his voice, And Elvis, man, he's got the golden voice, Halfway through, all of a sudden, Elvis starts singing the rest of the song with Roy Orbison. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, how could I even tell him what this is like? This is something else, right? Of course, Elvis knew I used to do his hair and all that, but we really didn't discuss that part. The song's over. Elvis turns down the volume and he looks at me with that Elvis look, with a smile and a grin. I got it. I got it. I got it. I know what I'm going to do, Lawrence. I said, what? I'm going to create a gospel album. I don't want RCA to mess with it. I don't want the Colonel to have anything to do with it. Hey, they can put it out and all that. This is my album. I'm in charge. I'm going to pick every song myself. So for the next 6-8 months, Elvis had a fabulous, 45s and 78, album records going back to the 40s, right? And every time we came back from a movie, we were going to Elvis's bedroom. Right next to the bedroom was Elvis's office. He didn't go in very much, but we went in to listen to music. And it took him months, and he selected everything that's in that album. Time to record, RCA Victor, Nashville, Tennessee. We go there to the Albert Pike Motel. We go up to Elvis's bedroom, getting ready to go that night, only at night would we record, to RCA. Elvis says, listen, you guys, you all go to the car. Larry and I will be down in a minute. They all leave. And Elvis said to me, listen to me, Larry. What I'm going to do tonight is not some of those songs they give me for those movies. Because some of those songs I would never pick myself. Some of them are pretty damn good, but some of them I wouldn't. This is not rock and roll music. This is God's music. And you know, as well as I do, God works in mysterious ways. I have no idea who's going to hear it. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. If one person listens to this and it helps them in any way, then I've done my job. So what I'm getting at is, I'm not getting out of this chair. I'm not using this voice that was given to me till my ego is out of the way. I'm not leaving to that studio until I hear that still small voice within me. Turn the lights down. Let's pray. Let's meditate. That's what happened for about, I would say in real time, 11, 12 minutes. And all of a sudden I heard, I'm ready. Let's hit it. Went to the studio, and that's how great thou art was born. The Beatles influenced that album. They don't know it. No one knows it. He was so in such a turmoil. He had to do something.
Yeah.
No, we did later things. Next time, God willing, we get together. I'll tell you I have one little story to finish this off.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Later in years, towards the end, Elvis had plans for his future that will blow your mind. He always wanted to break away from the Colonel, and he got to a place where absolutely was going to. But I can't go into that now, you guys. But hey, let's have our future together, and I'm working on things where this will come out, I promise. Now, 11 years later, we're on tour. The first tour of 1977. 1977. We were in Florida, southern Florida, Hollywood outside of, that area. We're on the Greyhound bus. We got out of the bus to get into the Hilton Hotel, of course. How many people were there? I mean, everywhere. Fans are screaming, Elvis, Elvis. And I get out, and there's always a group of fans, real hardcore fans. Wherever we went, they were there first. And this one girl, I'll never forget, she had a Levi jacket, and jeans, and a blouse, I don't remember exactly. Elvis, 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 Elvis. Hi, Larry. She knew my name, right? Hi. I went to my room and I packed. I wanted to get something to eat because I knew Elvis wanted me up and blah, blah, blah. He was up on top of the hotel in his suite. I went downstairs and I saw her and I called her over and I said, would you like to sit with me? And she got real excited, yeah. So I said, the reason I want to talk to you is I see you covered with, I'm so curious, why? Why? Why do you do this? Everywhere we go, you're there. And she began to tell me her story. Her name was Darlene. And she said, Larry, you can tell by looking at me that I'll never have a husband or children. She had the most gorgeous, angelic, big blue eyes, a beautiful face. From the waist down, it was obvious that she was challenged. And she told me her story where when she was 8 years old, she fell down a flight of stairs, her spine broke in several places, and then for years, hospitals, doctors, surgeries, pills, shots, doped up, no life, nothing. She wanted out. She couldn't handle it. She wanted to check out. She said, I had all the pills. I get whatever I want. I was in my room. I wrote the note. The radio was on, and all of a sudden I heard Elvis singing How Great Thou Art. And all of a sudden something hit me, and I'm on the floor crying hysterically, uncontrollably. I couldn't stop. I went over and over and over and crying, and I knew that God wanted me to live for Elvis. I told her briefly about what Elvis said. And then I said, I got to go. I know Elvis needs me. I have to go upstairs. Nice talking to you. I went upstairs. I walked into the Elvis suite, and no one was there but Elvis. And he was standing at the drapes, looking down, because all the fans are downstairs outside, you know, of course. And he was just peeking. And I remember thinking, God, if they knew that he was even looking, you know, they would get a kick out of it, you know. Elvis, I got to tell you something. He turned around and said, what is it? And I told him, Elvis is wearing his blue robe, royal blue robe, and a blue hood. Oh. Blue hood. Picture that face in that blue. What is it, Larry? And I told him. Remember, it's 1977. Last tour. First tour. He started shaking his head. Oh man. Tears. I saw him. I really need to hear that. You have no idea, Larry. I need to hear it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. No.
There's just a few other people.
Try and shut me up. Well, you're going to have to pull me. You're going to have to drag me up. I just want to say that it's wonderful to be with you all. Because you're the Elvis family. You were his North Star. He lived for his fans. How many times did he say, if it wasn't for my fans, I would not be here. I owe them everything. And all I have to do is be there for them. And that's the truth. And thank you for listening.